We're not live.
Now we are.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mo and Joe Show. It's Wednesday night, our favorite night of the week. I'm here with my sidekick, Bo Dean Sanders, or he likes to say I'm his sidekick. So we battle it out, but he's probably right. But I'm going to take top billing tonight because he's on the bottom, I'm on the top. And then we have our special featured correspondent, Adrian Farris, our baseball guru. So hello, gentlemen. Welcome to the show. How are things going in the world of sports, in the world in Philadelphia, and what's happening?
Hey, Joe, we have definitely a great show tonight. Lots to talk about. Ben Simmons, COVID issues, WNBA. So yeah, we've got lots of, and baseball. That's why we have our guru. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure baseball's on right now, right, Adrian? So
Dodgers Braves are on right now, and keep what they did last night and get a little comeback. They were down 5-0, and they just put 2 runs on the board. So we'll see what happens there.
So what's the score currently, and who's playing? Dodgers, Braves. Did he freeze?
No, I think he's there. The Dodgers and the Braves are on right now, right? Or
yeah, the Dodgers and Braves on now. Can you hear me?
Yeah. And what's the score?
So the Braves just plated 2. So now it's 5-2 Braves. The Braves were up 5-0, just like they were last night. You know, we know the Dodgers came back in 8th inning and brought 6 runs across to win the game. So we'll see what happens tonight. They're down 3 right now. The Braves just got out of the bottom of the 5th.
Well, that was a great game last night, and Charles Barkley jinxed them because when the score was 5-2 and they were doing their pregame show for the NBA, the start of the NBA season, he started screaming and yelling that the Braves were going to sweep. And so next thing you know, either at half, yeah, it definitely had to be at half, or it's at the end of the game. They called him on it because at that point, the Dodgers had hit the 3-run home run to tie it, and Mookie was up to bat, and they were watching it, and then Mookie had to go ahead RBI.
Yep.
And then it was over. So Charles is staking his claim on the Braves winning the entire series. So let's see what the Dodgers do tonight. See what happens. Very interesting. What's your gut feeling?
Well, the thing about the Dodgers, and I was watching the game last night, down 5-0, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, wow. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. And then somebody made a comment. Actually, one of my friends on Facebook made a comment, and I kind of took a step back and I was like, the Dodgers are never out of it. Right. It doesn't matter what it is. With the bats they have, they're never at it. And lo and behold, here comes the 8th inning, and games change, game's over. So, 5-2 now. That's well within range for them, and it's still early in the game. So it'll be interesting to see. And the Braves are throwing relievers today. It's one after the other. So if the relievers can continue to be efficient and effective as they were in the first 2 games, then they should be able to get it done.
Right.
But can't count them out.
What about the other series?
I think the other series, it's been a tale of 2 series. So the Astros took game 1, and then the Red Sox heated up, and they actually did a couple things that's never been done in the playoffs. In game 2, they hit 2 grand slams in consecutive innings,
right?
Which has never been done. And then in game 3, they came back and hit another grand slam. So they hit 3 grand slams in 2 games. And that's unprecedented in playoff baseball. So quickly went up 2-1, and then last night they take a 2-0 lead early, and then they go cold.
Yep, and Houston just poured it on.
And Houston, who's got a great, it's really interesting that game 2 and 3, those bats were silent as much as they were for them. So they got back on it yesterday, and then today they got on them early, got on them often, and so that game is back to 3-2 Astros. The Astros are now up 3-2, and they can either seal it in Fenway, I believe it's tomorrow, or they have a shot at getting it at, well, no, it's 3-2, so that means game 6 and 7 are actually, they're going back to Houston, so they'll play in 2 days, and they have a chance to close it down in Houston, starting, what's today, Wednesday, starting Friday.
So I want to jump to some of the comments. So Frank's rooting for somebody else. He's saying, let's go Mets. So I don't know, Frank. I don't think that's going to happen. So Brandon's saying, hello, gentlemen. What's up, Joanne and guys? Of course, we have Justin here with 1 million comments. So thanks for joining the conversation, gentlemen. We certainly appreciate it. And thanks for the laugh, Frank.
Frank's getting started early on the Mets for next year. I hear you, Frank. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Get started early. I hear
he's
you.
Excited. He's excited.
He's got faith.
And we have a woman viewer, Annette. Hello, Annette. Welcome to the conversation. So we're glad to have you here.
Woohoo! Annette, yeah, baby. Woo! Thanks for joining.
So great. So I will say, I always love the Boston Yankees rivalry, but Boston is impressive. I didn't think they were going to pull it out, and I believe they're going to do it. I'm rooting for them, and I know Justin is too. But let's go Boston. I'm excited. It's been the 2 grand slams. I mean, you don't get to see a grand slam very often, but 2 in 1 game, very, very exciting. And I think that's why baseball in October is amazing.
Absolutely.
I'm in Philadelphia. We don't root for anyone in Boston, and not meaning teams, meaning teams of Boston teams. I do appreciate my hometown quarterback, Mr. Jones, for the Patriots, but no, I can't root for. That ain't happening.
I'm with you.
Justin's telling us there's actually 3 grand slams in the series overall. So.
They had 2 grand slams. They had back-to-back grand slams in game 2, and then another grand slam in game 3. So they're the first team ever to have 3 grand slams in a series like that. Yes.
And so Will saying he needs the Braves and the Red Sox. So hi, Will. Welcome to the conversation. And Annette's throwing out there, come on, let's go to a game. Can anybody get us tickets? All right, good thought, Annette. We'll circulate that around.
I'll tell you what, I've still have never been to a World Series, and it's probably sacrilege that I might say this, but I'm in Atlanta, and if the Braves make it, I may have to go put some money down and go to a World Series game here.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen. Baseball's in your blood, so I don't blame you. I haven't been to a Super Bowl yet. Obviously, I've been to NFL games. But I would probably, if I had an opportunity to attend a Super Bowl, I think I would. I'm with that.
And so here's Justin. Justin's been to a Red Sox World Series game, Adrian. So Justin's 18. He's got us beat. Good job, Justin. That's
very
exciting.
Good.
That's exciting.
Fenway's a great place to go.
It is. It sure is. So all right. So what do we want to do next? So let's talk about the Chicago Sky. That's an exciting development. Women WNBA championship. The Sky won their first championship, and I was so happy to see Candace Parker on her home home court. I think that was certainly an exciting game. And there's another, I forgot the other young lady's. She was on her home court too. So I think that was really impressive. She said it was full circle for her. She left her old team. I forgot the team that she had been on. And then she went back and she joined her home squad. Her family was there. Her high school coach was there. And Allie Quigley. Thanks, Justin. So her high school coach was there. How exciting must have that been? The win, but just to do it in front of your family and friends. I mean, it's just a magical moment for sure.
She left the LA Sparks, if I'm not mistaken, the LA team.
Right. Yep, correct.
So, she went and she won a championship there. So a lot of athletes who have the opportunity to win a championship in their hometown try to take it. But mostly they make the media hones in on and promotes and talks about those superstars that go to their hometown and try to bring a championship, because the pressure on them is a little different than the pressure on a role player who's competing and might be from that hometown. The superstars get all the pressure. And so for her to do that and accomplish that, and Chicago is, it's just like Philadelphia. It's like all the, the big cities. The pressure on the big cities to win championships is bigger than the pressure on the smaller market teams. So for her to do that, and what is it? Chicago hasn't won in terms of the city, hasn't won a championship in a while.
So
right?
Jason's saying first basketball championship in Chicago since Jordan in 1998. So that's a long time. But I think Brandon has a great point. Brandon is saying that he feels as if the WNBA was disrespected having their finals game in the mid-afternoon and not on prime time. I have to agree.
Yeah, and that's part of the contracts. They're going to have to renegotiate those TV contracts, either break that contract, review that contract, or wait until the contract is up and improve the equity part of DEI, right? To help promote and allow the viewing public to watch those games in prime time the same way they would watch, the men's basketball. So if you can structure the contract, the TV contracts where the women are on in prime time, then the league can then justify paying higher salaries, because that means if you're on prime time, you're making the premium dollars, right? Does that make sense? So that's what they've got to work on, right? So people have to demand it.
Yeah, and the other side of that, is ratings.
Yeah.
Ratings drives that. And I missed some of what you said. You may have mentioned that, but the ratings have a lot to do with it, and when they put it on. If the ratings are not what they need to be, then it's hard for them to move something else out of the way. That's going to drive better ratings. Well,
I mean, but that's the thing. 6 on one hand, half a dozen on the other. If you're not putting it on in prime time, you're not going to get the prime time ratings, right? So, right. So if you give it the opportunity to grow the ratings by putting it on prime time and leaving it on and giving people time to adjust their schedule or realize that WNBA is on in prime time, right? Boom. I mean, it's just like running commercials, right? You run the best commercials during prime time, they're going to get more viewers, more eyeballs, and therefore you can justify spending more money the next time because you have proof that there were more viewers watching the commercial. If you put that same commercial on at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, how many eyes do you think you're going to get? Right? So
sure.
It's the cycle,
Absolutely.
right? It's the cycle.
So I want to follow up on a story too. I don't know if you remember when we talked about the San Jose Sharks and the forward Evander Kane and how he produced the fake vaccine card, and so
He got caught.
Yep, so he got caught. He was suspended today for 21 unpaid games, which is a pretty lengthy suspension. He's come back around and apologized. And of course, he's had a very troubling year. He's accused of domestic violence and betting against the NHL. But those accusations came from his estranged wife. So, I think they have to be taken with a grain of salt. There's lots of things happen in divorce proceedings, and so I'm not necessarily. He was founded; they were proven to be unfounded. But it sounds like he admitted to the fake vaccine card. It just brings up the whole controversy with COVID. So many things have happened with COVID this week. It's not going away clearly, and it's certainly impacting the sports world. What do you think? I know we spoke about. We have Allison Williams leaving ESPN. She's in her child. She wants to have a second child. She's a college football reporter. She's been on the sidelines for the last 15 seasons, and she asked for a reasonable accommodation. ESPN turned her down, and unfortunately, she's leaving the network. That's a tough one. I certainly believe in the COVID vaccine mandates for organizations. They have the right to do that, but when you have women in their childbearing years, it's a tough decision.
Yeah, and I don't have the ability to have a child, so I'm staying out of that one. I just think there's enough information out there regarding women who have gotten the vaccine versus women who have not. So the information's out there, the scientific information's out there for people to make the decision, right? So that's, I mean, for me, it's just like Kyrie Irving, right? Wiggins, is it Anthony Wiggins?
Yeah.
Wiggins from Golden State Warriors was in the same position 2 weeks ago. We were talking about him and Kyrie. Well, guess what? Wiggins played last night, hit some great shots to help his team win because he got vaccinated. He's able to play, the team won, right? So, Kyrie is just making life very difficult because I'm telling you, those guys, if Kyrie would have been on the court last night, and the opener against the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm not saying they would have won, but it would have been a closer game in the end. And when you lose a game knowing you have a teammate that could have helped you win or give you a higher chance of winning, there's going to be some resentment. So the longer he waits, the higher the resentment's going to build. And then guys are going to be like, I'm done with this guy because he's not helping the team win. I mean, so he's making life difficult for himself.
For sure. So we might as well stay on basketball. We talked a little bit about Kyrie Irving. What do you think about Ben Simmons being suspended? I think that's, he doesn't seem to be much of a team player. Justin we can go back to Kyrie. Justin's saying, and I know you probably want to shout out there. Did you hear what Charles Barkley said about Kyrie? And I know you did, Bodine. So I'll let you weigh in there.
Well, I mean, Charles has the ability and the cachet and the capital, the personal Hall of Fame capital to say what he feels regarding the situation. That's why Charles gets paid. He says exactly how he feels, what's on his mind, regardless if it's ridiculous or not. But the bottom line is CB1, that was our nickname for him. He's right. We talked about this. It's a team game. He got vaccinated when he was in college. He played 1 year at Duke, right? He had to be vaccinated. He had to go through the physical examinations, right? He's done all the things his entire life that every athlete has had to do. And all of a sudden, he decides to make this issue the issue he's going to stand his ground on. And it makes no sense. So Charles has every right as an analyst to go scorched earth on him because Kyrie is not being a team player, just like Ben Simmons is not being a team player for different reasons, right? So when you're not being a team player, guys don't have time. These are, again, remember, I told you this, Joe. In the pros, you don't mess with a grown man's money. Don't mess with those guys' money in the pros. They are grown men. They're making lots of money. And if you start messing with their money, oh, you're talking about problems, right? We're not talking about peanuts. We're talking about millions of dollars. You know,
it doesn't even have to be grown men. I start messing around with my teenage son's allowance. There's all kinds of fireworks over here. But that's instilled in them early for sure. All right, so let's talk about Ben Simmons. I think it seems kind of so trivial to me. You know, he's not willing to sub in a drill, and some of the things that he's being accused of certainly seem petty, and I can certainly see his teammates being. I'd be furious, quite frankly. So I don't know what your thoughts are.
Well, he's going through the process of trying to get out of Philadelphia, right? There's a process that you have to go through. He thought he could circumvent that process by not reporting to camp. You can't do that anymore, right? You're not putting yourself in a position of leverage to get traded to a team that you're going to want to play for because they have an opportunity to win. So he has some leverage, but he doesn't have a lot of leverage. And now that he's suspended, he's going to get docked and fined. So he'd have been better off just staying away, right? If you're going to lose money with respect. Don't lose money and embarrass yourself, because he's literally embarrassing himself. A grown man acting that way in front of his teammates, in front of the cameras, especially in Philadelphia. No, you can't do that. No, not in Philadelphia, because two things are going to happen. If he actually has the audacity to walk out with the team at a home game in warm-ups, forget the game. When he walks out on the court for warm-ups, he's going to get crushed in Philadelphia. So if he wants that image to follow him the rest of his career, I don't know what he's thinking. And you know who's his representative?
Justin knows. You mean the Kardashians?
Well, he's definitely got the Kardashian curse. No, his representative is LeBron, one of LeBron James's guys who he grew up with that's an agent, right? So
Justin saying Rich Paul.
Rich Paul. Yeah, he's getting either bad advice or he's not following the advice of his representatives, but he looks childish. And one of the bottom lines is he's got no capital to fall back on because he doesn't shoot jump shots, right? I can see if he was a well-rounded player and he was acting a fool, but he's acting a fool and the dude can't hit a jump shot. So in that respect, he has no leverage, right? He can't walk through the streets of Philadelphia under, William Penn on Market Street with his head up high and say, I'm doing the right thing. No, because all people are going to say is, dude, you can't shoot jump shots. Right? So he again, I don't know what he's thinking, but what I've seen, I mean, come on, Farris.
Yeah.
If you showed up to baseball practice with a cell phone in your pocket and sweatpants and not your actual workout gear, come on. What is that? How does that look?
Yeah. Well, he's doing it on purpose. I mean, but it goes back. I think it was last week I said it. I told you, NBA versus Major League Baseball versus the NFL. NBA players, they feel they have a certain amount of ownership and they can do what they want. These things don't happen in Major League Baseball. They don't happen in the NFL.
No.
And Ben Simmons, his issue, and you said it, he is not the type of player that can just demand the trade and get me out. Somebody's got to want you. Bottom line is you can demand all you want, but if nobody's buying, then it doesn't matter. So he's stuck. And what he's doing now is not going to help his cause. It's not going to make somebody else want him.
Nope. And don't let the NBA get you. And his fight is with the Sixers. If the NBA has to get involved, that's when you're done. So the NBA hasn't even gotten involved yet. They're sitting on the sidelines watching how the Sixers are handling the situation. You know why they're watching it? Because they're learning from it, right? Because they know this could possibly happen again. So they're just sitting back, keeping an eye on it, see how it's going. But once the NBA gets involved, that means you're fighting City Hall at that point, right? and once that happens, he's definitely done because they control your money, right? They control your money. They can hit you with so many fines you'll be owing them money every week. So, and what is he? He's like a $30 to $40 million player this year. Come on, you can't. Why are you playing with your money that way? He sold his $3 million condo in Philly, right? So everybody knows what's going on with this dude. He doesn't want to be here, but he doesn't want to act right in order to not be here. He's playing his cards wrong. And I don't even know if he was vaccinated. I think what happened was, did you hear last week when he showed up? They didn't even know he was in town. He just showed up to the arena saying he wanted to join the team. And he couldn't even do that until they tested him. And I'm sure they asked him, was he vaccinated? If he wasn't, he probably had to. If he was, he probably had to prove it. But, I mean, it's just, I don't know what these guys are thinking.
And the only bad thing the thing that gets me with Kyrie is that he's going to get paid $17 million to sit at home.
Yeah.
And I applaud the Nets for what they did rather than, okay, you can play this week, you can't play that week because you can play here. You know what I mean? I applaud them for sitting him down and saying, hey, we're not going to go through this, but he's still getting paid. That's the thing that gets me. I mean, I don't go to work. I'm not getting paid.
It's all about the chemistry. You can't interrupt the chemistry, right? One week he's with us, and the next week he's not because we're on a road trip, and then the next week we're at home. No, you can't do that. Now, what I will say about Joel Embiid, because of the way his career here in Philadelphia has progressed, he doesn't necessarily have a clean slate in my eyes, right? Because he's a diva too, right? And as I wrote in my book, basketball players are passive aggressive. Football players are aggressive. And so he's a diva too. He tried to manipulate, situations when he was hurt. Remember, when he was hurt, he was out going to concerts, right? Doing TikTok videos when he should have been rehabbing, right? So he's not squeaky clean in this particular situation in terms of his opinion saying, oh, I'm done with Ben Simmons, right? So, the only reason Philadelphia, in terms of the fan base, in my opinion, is giving Embiid a pass is because they know Ben Simmons couldn't shoot a jump shot and he wasn't going to help us win a championship. Embiid gives us a better shot of competing, right? But listen, we're not winning a title with just Embiid. That ain't happening because he's no Shaquille O'Neal, no Bill Russell, no Wilt Chamberlain, no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's not even a Bill Walton. He's not in that category at all. So I don't know if anybody's fooling themselves about his ability to play center. He might be one of the top centers in the league right now, but I don't see it. Until he proves it, I don't see it. I think he's soft.
All right. Well, yeah. Do we want
Well, you don't have those types of centers in the league anymore anyway.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's no Davis, unibrow.
Yeah. Anthony Davis.
He's no Anthony Davis.
He doesn't even want to play center. He wants to play on the 3-point line. So, I mean, that's just where basketball's gone these days. And, to have a true center, like what's his name from the Suns, the young kid from Texas, the Suns, I'm talking about. Yeah, Aiden,
something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have many guys like that in the league anymore.
Right.
And if they are in the league, a lot of times they're coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just not the game anymore.
How about who's really two good centers in the league, but they're not looked upon as dominant centers? The Twins. They're twin brothers. What's his name?
You're talking one's with Milwaukee. Actually,
yes.
Weren't they both with Milwaukee?
No. I mean, that might have been a while ago, right?
I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah. Those guys are playing well. They can play inside. They can play outside. They can shoot jump shots. So
they're on the back half of their careers, though.
Yes. Come on, Brandon, help me out. Who are those twin brothers that play in the NBA league? No, not Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is a point guard.
All right, Justin, get on that. The twin brothers.
One plays for Milwaukee.
He's saying Justin Holiday and Holiday.
No, they're not. No. Those guys are point guards and shooters. I'm talking about centers.
All right, well, Justin
Lopez.
The Lopez brothers. Yeah, the Lopez brothers. Yeah, the Lopez brothers. Yeah. One played for Boston. I mean, they've kind of been around the league, but those guys are good players, right? So I like those guys. It's time for football now, right? Woohoo!
Time for football. Well, I want to start with, have you read about or heard about the concussion, the race norming and the concussion policy for the NFL? Did you hear about that?
Oh, that's been an issue for a while. They said they're going to change it. I don't know if they actually, was there a date set on changing that process, but Jeremy Schaap on Espn Outside the Lines program did a really nice expose on that. and that was a huge issue. So what do you know?
Well, there was just a big controversy about it this week. Again, that in June they agreed to throw that out of the policy, and I don't believe it's done so to date. We had some NFL players, coming out and discussing it again, and about the dementia. We have, and I forget the gentleman's name now. These players who came out of the league in their 30s, being diagnosed with dementia, and the league is denying that it's based on not denying it, but making it, I don't know if everybody knows what it is, but making it much more difficult for Black men to qualify
for the health benefits. Yeah.
Well, saying their cognitive abilities are different than that from white gentlemen.
They're white counterparts. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
it's really
amazing.
It's really disturbing. So we had some former NFL players coming out again this week and speaking about it. And some of the gentlemen are deceased at this point, and the claim records are confidential in most instances. But it's actually the first time I heard about it was this week, and I was appalled, actually. And it seems as if I can't even believe there's a controversy surrounding it at all, or that it was normalized and that it's been ongoing for so long.
It's been happening for, since they came up with the CTE, all these evaluation programs. It's a shame. And hopefully they have the right representation to fight these issues. But until the media gets involved and does a story on it, folks like us, we don't even know about it because, again, I'm not close to a former NFL player where I'm having that conversation. So I've got to find out about it the same way you guys do as well. Either read about it or hear about it, through the media. But once I heard about it, it makes your blood boil.
For sure.
So,
and that's where I actually saw, I believe the media is weighing in. That's where I saw it. I saw it on, primetime NBC World News Tonight this week. And that's how I saw it. I don't typically watch the news. I don't even know how I stumbled across it. But yeah, I think it was really disturbing. And they just had a report that came out today saying they're proposing to fix it, and they agreed in June. But there's maybe it was because of that story. But now they're saying they are going to amend that policy. So we'll see what happens. It's something worth watching for sure.
Well, listen, I get it, right? Last week, 15 to 18 former NBA players were arrested by the federal government, the FBI, because they were cheating. They were cheating on insurance and health,
insurance scam. They were doing an insurance scam.
Insurance scam, right? Yeah. So I get it, right? You want to make sure if guys are opting into these programs that they're not cheating the system. I get that. But there's a difference between someone cheating an insurance scam because they're going to a doctor or a dentist who's filling out a referral to go get your wisdom tooth pulled, and then 15 other guys come through the same dentist office to get the same recommendation for the same tooth. Come on.
On the same day. They really were. Yeah, they were pretty sloppy for sure.
I mean, come on, right? There's a difference between that and a guy who's walking into his doctor's office with his significant other who she's able to say, can you check him for dementia or a CTE because his emotions are up and down, his temper is up and down, his memory is up and down, right? His weight is up and down, right? Those are different, right? So I don't think someone is smart enough to scam an insurance company based on claiming having dementia and CTE. Come on. Stop
But
making
not
it.
only that, why is it only the black men who are being held to a different standard? Yeah, that's I think the real controversy.
Well, that's the real
I mean,
issue. Yeah.
yeah,
That's one of the issues. That's one of the issues as well. Yeah. So something's wrong, right?
something's up wrong. I think that's the biggest issue.
Well, it's the total issue. They're basically saying that our capacities are different than white people's capacities, and because of that, you don't qualify for this money. That's what they're saying.
It's not right.
Point blank. No.
It's just offensive on so many levels. It just is.
All right, so let's get to the positive news. I wore my Jacksonville Jaguars hat last week, and we won.
Exciting.
Yeah. We're no more the banana in the tailpipe. We're not a lemon anymore. We're actually got a win, and L was not part of our weekend. We got a W, absolutely. Overseas though, right? Overseas, it happens. I think our team has played more overseas than anybody.
Well, that's what they said. I tuned in late, as a matter of fact. I tuned in at the end of the game, forgot it was on, so I got to see the end. But they were talking about the fact that that's a home game away from home for the Jags. I mean, they've been there so many times that everybody roots for them. So it's a home game for them, essentially.
Right. Well, look at my Irish twin has now chimed in from Jayville, my sister. Right.
So we have more than one Sanders excited about that win. So that's exciting for us. And welcome, Cassandra. It's great to have you on the show. I could use the camaraderie of another woman. So thank you.
No. Call her San. Call her San.
All right, San. All right.
Or twin, right? But
okay.
she's living in Jacksonville amongst that. Hey, listen, I have empathy for my Jacksonville Jaguars. They can either go to the beach, they can play golf, they can play pickleball. I mean, they've got so much to do in that sun and that nice weather. So, but we need a reason to get people in the seats. And how do you get people in the seats? You gotta win, right? You gotta win. Right? A win's a win. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Justin is saying, oh no, he's got too many comments.
What?
He's saying the Jags are moving to London, so
listen. I've even thought that, but the problem is logistically that would be impossible, because then you're giving the Jags a home field advantage for teams traveling over to compete against them. So logistically, I just don't think it's going to happen. You'd have to have two teams over there, right? And if you had two teams, then you can, again, this is just off the top of my head. If you had two teams based in that part of the country, right, on that continent, then you could have four teams travel over. 1 week would be their bye. Two teams would have a bye week. The other two teams would compete that Sunday, right? And then leave. And then the two teams that had their bye week would then the following week, right, Sunday, compete and then get out of Dodge. And then the two teams in the UK could fly, right, back to America and then compete for 2 or 3 weeks. That's just too much logistical nightmares for me, right? So I don't see it. I used to think about it because, again, it makes sense. The guy is, that's his home base. But I just don't see two American teams over there because you can't do it with one. It would be totally unfair for that to happen, because then guys got to get used to different time zones, right? Did you see what happened when the Chargers flew to the East Coast and played the Baltimore Ravens? They were on a 10 o'clock in the morning, right? They were at a 10 o'clock in the morning time clock. Come on. I have never played football. I mean, I played practice. I went to practice at 10 in the morning, but actually played a football game at 10 in the morning? Come on. That's a disadvantage, right? So, and you see what happened. Baltimore crushed them. And we know the Chargers are better than that. So imagine if you had to fly all the way to the UK. Anybody have an idea how long it takes to fly over there? I don't. I've never been out of there.
From here, it's about 6 hours.
So it's just a disadvantage.
So that's 9 from the West Coast.
Yeah, it's a long.
Yeah,
it's a long trip.
that Chargers Ravens game should have been a 4 o'clock game. I don't understand why it was a 1 o'clock game, but the Chargers played like it was 10 in the morning. There's no doubt about it.
Somebody made a boo-boo. That was a total disadvantage. How can somebody not catch that who makes up the schedule? And think about it. It would have been, if you'd have put that on prime time, that the ratings would have been off the charts, right? The Dallas Cowboy and Patriots game had like 30 to 50 million people watching in the fourth quarter alone. Primetime game.
Yeah, it's
right?
a great game. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's just a disadvantage.
Right, so Just is bringing up a subject I want to touch on. What do we think about Aaron Rodgers owning the Bears fans?
Well, they were getting after him, from what I understand. So he was just only getting them back.
Yeah. He said he looked up into the stands and he heard profanity, and one woman was giving him, he said, the double bird, and he said he blacked out. He didn't know what to, he doesn't remember what he said, but he has no regrets about it. And his record proves it. He's 22-5 against the Bears. His record is, so I guess he does own them, right?
He was telling them the truth. I own you.
That's like Pedro Martinez saying, "Who's your daddy?"
Yeah.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, right. The difference between Pedro and the closer from the Yankees, Rivera, who was quiet, right? That's just difference in personalities. But the bottom line, if a guy owns you, he owns you. Don't give him reason to piss him off, because look, you in no position. You got a rookie quarterback, fans. Come on, stop it. Come on. You just giving the guy a reason, and you think he's going to be a free agent in the next year or two? Do you think he's going to want to come to Chicago and play? Nope. Not even close, because y'all pissing him off. The guy isn't retiring. He's a bad man. That dude can throw the football. He's going to play close to 40 years old. And what is he, 36, 37?
37, I think.
So he's going to play another 3 years. And if he stays healthy, he's going to want to play, what is Tom Brady, 44? He's going to want to hang in there as long as he could to get the records. So this guy's going to be around. And he is smart. He's got a high IQ, a high EQ. And he's a great athlete, and he can sling that rock. I don't think anybody, I've talked about this before, that dude throws a beautiful pass. So
but not only that, he must have been so pumped because he ran in for the touchdown. He ran it in. It wasn't even a pass. He made the play himself. So I think he was probably on top of the world. It's not as common, certainly, for the QBs to run in the touchdown themselves. So I enjoyed it. I think, at first I wasn't sure, but when I read about it and when it was in context, and he had indicated after the game that the fans were harassing him, good for him, right?
Well, listen, at least he's being an equal opportunity arrogant and cocky quarterback, because it was a woman who was giving him a double bird, right? So
right.
if she's got the courage to throw those 2 fingers up, then she should have the courage to deal with the repercussions and the consequences. And And that's what happens. But I'm sure it was all in fun, right? It was all in good fun.
I'm sure it's her claim to fame now. Every woman who was even close to that end zone is saying it was her.
Oh, I bet. Oh, it was me. Yeah. Hey, listen.
Exactly.
Let's give him credit. The dude is good looking, right? I don't have a problem saying that. He's a good looking dude. He's got millions of dollars. He's trying to be what game show is he trying to be the host of? Jeopardy. Or something?
Jeopardy.
No, Jeopardy.
Right. So he's got a big time career after his football season. But I'm telling you, he's got at least 3 to 5 years left in him if he can stay healthy. And I think he can. So he's going to be around a while.
So I don't always agree with you, Bodine, but I will say I don't have any problem saying Aaron Rodgers is a good-looking man either. So I'm jumping right on that bandwagon with you.
Give the man credit where credit is due, right?
All right, so let's talk about the games. We had another great week of games, right? I mean, we had some exciting matchups. So what do you think? What were your favorite games of the week?
Well, come on. The game that got the highest ratings was the Cowboys versus the Patriots. And, my hometown quarterback, Mr. Jones, played pretty well. Sure, he threw that interception, but it wasn't his fault. The receiver or running back should have caught that pass. And Diggs, who I keep saying, he's got more touchdowns than his brother, and his brother's a wide receiver for Buffalo, right? And this dude's a defensive back. He's just, hey, Dallas is playing well. Hopefully, hey, if their quarterback has the calf strain, if he's out for a number of weeks, that's part of it. Everybody else is banged up. Right? So you got to find a way to win. So no reason to feel sorry for them. But that was a great game. I'm telling you, it was a great game. I feel sorry for Detroit. That's why I got my Michigan hat on. I'm trying to give some good vibes to Detroit Lions so they can win, because they had 2 weeks in a row where they're just not blessed, right? They got bad luck. There's a black cat running around in that stadium or wherever their practice field is. So they've got the Rams this week. On paper, they shouldn't win, but it's in Detroit, so let's see what happens. And matter of fact, the quarterback for Detroit was the starting quarterback for the Rams last year. In other words, they switched quarterbacks, right? So this is going to be a very interesting game this weekend between the Rams and the Lions. And I hope the Lions can pull it out. I got family in Detroit area, so go Detroit.
All right. What about you, Adrian? What did you think? What was your favorite game of the week?
Well, I mean, that Cowboys-Patriots game was easily the best game of the week. I'll say this: the one that really caught my eye was how the Browns got beat by the Cardinals.
Ooh!
That's the game that stands out for me. You looked at that game, and with everything the Browns have done over the last couple of years, they've brought in a lot of big names. Their defense is supposed to be one of the best defenses in the league. And, for the first time in many years, people are legitimately talking about them as contenders to win the division and potential contenders for the Super Bowl. And they're now sitting there at 3-3. And they got beat 37-14 this week by the Cardinals. And once again, the Cardinals are, I don't think a lot of people still believe what the Cardinals are doing at 6-0, but they look good doing it. There's no doubt about it.
I was happy to see the Raiders win too, right? I mean, I was a little bit worried about them this week, and they pulled it out with the win. So I was glad to see that.
See what happens when you have good chemistry You have players on the team with that has positive characters, right? Positive values, believe in the team concept. They rally around each other. They support each other. They come together and they get it done. And that's in both cases, because with the Cardinals, you lose your coach, a couple of coaches, because of COVID. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between your coach, the head coach, being on the sideline, right? Who can find you, who, right? The eye in the sky don't lie, right? There's always videotape, right? So the coach is not on the sideline. That means the other coaches have to step up and coach the team. But what it also means is the quarterback is leading the team. And from what I heard, the quarterback, the second year playing quarterback, who's a youngster, really led them. And you could tell he was playing at a different level, right? He had that serious look on his face. He was not happy when somebody didn't run the right pattern. If somebody wasn't in the right spot, if somebody got a flag, he basically took. And matter of fact, they said a play was called from the sideline, and he made an audible because he recognized that it was a bad play instead of just running the play because it came from the sideline. So that kid stepping up, the team stepped up. They won that game without the head coach and other coaches who weren't on the sideline. And then when you talk about the Raiders, I mean, come on. That situation is either going to tear you apart or it's going to bring you together. And apparently it brought them together because they won the game. And it's not easy winning an NFL football game on Sundays.
True.
They played with a chip on their shoulder, too. I mean, they put it to them.
Oh,
from the first play of the game.
No
so
question.
you know what they were about.
No question. And they liked the coach that took over. He may have a new career now as a head coach because he's got chemistry. Everybody likes him. He's straight up with them. You know, and they feel he's got their best interest, and he's a special teams coach. So his attitude and his personality is different than a traditional head coach. But guess who also was a special teams coach before he became a head coach? The coach for the Baltimore Ravens. So there is some history of a special teams coach taking over and being a head coach and doing a great job and proving he can get the job done. So it's not like it's an anomaly. It's not a unicorn.
Well, and I'll say, yeah, I agree. The Giants are still doing horribly, and luckily the Chiefs pulled one out. I think maybe they're going to turn it around. That was 31-13, but you know that's still shocking to me. Patrick Mahomes still struggling this season, and Justin's asking what your thoughts are on that, saying Bodine, what's wrong with Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs?
He's doing too much because the defense is not doing their job, right? The defense is thinking, oh, we can put ourselves in a hole. Patrick will pull us out. No, that's what guys used to think when they were playing with Michael Jordan. And then Michael was like, you got to do your job or you're off the team, right? So Patrick Mahomes has to put his foot down and say, listen, guys, I need you guys to step up. This should be easier than what we're making it, right? So the defense has to step up. You can't – it's embarrassing as a defensive team to allow teams who are terrible like Washington, right? Washington is an example of what we were just talking about regarding the Raiders, right? Washington's got problems all around. They've got investigations going on, boom, 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 right? They don't even have a name, right? So they've got problems. There's no way Washington should be hanging in there even in the first half with the high-powered Kansas City team. It just shouldn't happen. And what happened in the second half? Patrick Mahomes came out and said, all right, it's time to stop playing. Throws 3 quick touchdowns. It's over. Well, that should have happened in the beginning of the game. They should have blew those guys away in the beginning of the game and let the backups get an opportunity to get some experience. But they're, so if they don't straighten up and fly right, they're going to make it difficult, because even though Buffalo lost the other night, Buffalo is coming. Tennessee is finding their way. Who else is in that?
Chargers,
Raiders. I mean, it's
Ravens, Bengals.
Come on, the Bengals. Oh, come on.
And that's the game of the week this week, as far as I'm concerned. Bengals are going to Baltimore to play the Ravens, and that's for first place.
Yeah, that's a 4:30 game. Yeah.
Now it's a 1:00 game.
Yeah, 1:00.
Okay, yeah, 1:00 game. So, yeah, Kansas City better straighten up and fly right, or they got problems. But we keep forgetting, at least let's try to remember, there's 17 games this year, not 16. I'm telling you, that 17th game, it's not going to be like it was in the past, where the last game of the season, people are like, oh, I'm not watching it, don't mean anything. I'm telling you, that 17th game this year is going to mean something to a lot of teams. A lot of teams. So let's see what happens.
I don't even know. We got the Eagles against the Raiders. That might be an interesting game this week. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm not sure which games really stand out to me. That's one. The Packers, Washington. That could be another good one.
Bears, Bucks.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Tennessee, right?
Oh yeah, I missed that one.
Well, the running back.
That's a big game now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And the running back, Henry, he's on pace for 2,300 yards. If he does that, come on, Brandon, somebody help me out. I'm sure if he does that, he will be, I think, one of the first running backs to do it twice or 3 years in a row. So,
yeah,
I mean, that dude.
And you have the 17th game this year,
which helps.
Yep.
If he's 100 yards short, you don't think he can get 100 yards? Shoot, that one play for a touchdown he got was 75 or 80 yards. He can do it in one pop. So, no, it's
Adrian Peterson.
Right? So, I'm telling you, there's a lot of great games this weekend.
That's true. Okay.
But I think what's back this weekend is the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning ESPN show. I can't wait to record that. I can't wait to record it and rewatch it, because those guys are hilarious. How about that? You like that program, Joe?
I do. I like the Manning brothers. Yeah, I've always liked their they play off each other very well. So it's they've always been a lot of fun to watch, and they make fun of themselves. They've always been in commercials, and really they're not self-deprecating. They've always taken their lumps with tongue-in-cheek responses. I mean, Eli certainly took a beating right from day one, and I've always appreciated that about them.
Well, Eli's the baby brother, right? And Peyton's the middle child, right? So they have a special relationship that's different than their relationship with the older brother, right? So they're just it's all genuine. It's good. It's good for people to watch, and it's good and it's a different kind of program too. It's not a debate program, right, where guys are debating. No, this is actually, I'm telling you, that program is going to be around a while, right? And they're not force feeding it to us, right? They're selectively feeding it to us, which I like, right? You're not over promoting it and overdoing it, in the beginning. So I like it. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. All right, so we're over time again. We're past the 11 o'clock hour. What do we have? Our closing thoughts? Did we cover everything we wanted to? Do you want to take a look at any more games, or just gearing up and looking forward? We covered a lot. Looking forward to what's happening on this week. Who's playing tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night
Broncos, Browns. Yeah.
Yep, in Cleveland. Yeah. What's his name? Well, the starting quarterback for Cleveland is not. He's out because of his non-throwing shoulder. Because it's early in the season. You want to give him a chance to heal up because most teams. Yep, he's out. You want to give him a chance to heal up because the push to make the playoffs is going to start, right at the middle part of the season. So if you can win a couple of games without him, and then reassess the rest of the season at the middle of the season, then and then you look at their schedule. The middle part of their schedule might be weak. So you don't want to jeopardize his career. Putting him out there. So you got to, just like, all the other quarterbacks. So, because it's a quarterback-driven league.
Agreed. All right. So I guess that's it. What do you got, Adrian? What are we looking forward to in the world of baseball? What's the predictions? What do you think is going to happen? Who's in the World Series?
Well, what we have right now is the Braves are headed into the ninth inning, still up 5-2 on the Dodgers. And the Braves, the Dodgers swept the Braves in Los Angeles this year, so it'll be a huge win. If they get this win, they'll be up 3-1, and if that happens, then the Dodgers are going to have to win 3 straight in order to get back to the World Series this year. So that's the story as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to sit down here and watch this last inning and see if the Braves can pull it out, and we'll see what goes from there. I think Houston's going to go ahead and take the American League. Now that they got back up on the Red Sox, I think the Red Sox just had 2 very hot days, and I think the Astros pitching will take care of business. And I think it'll probably happen in Game 6. I don't see it going Game 7.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's something to look forward to. All right, so what are you thinking? Is the Astros Dodgers? It sounds like.
No, I think he's thinking it's the Astros. Did he freeze up? I think he's thinking the Astros Braves. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I think if the Braves pull this out, I think so. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the Dodgers can't win 3 straight. But I just think the Braves they're playing a different brand of baseball right now. Their bats are hot, and their pitching is very solid right now. I don't see the Dodgers coming back if the Braves get this game. And I think I said the Astros. I think the pitching will hold out for the Astros, and they'll take care of business with 2 games at home
against Boston.
Yep.
Yeah. Justin's saying the Red Sox are coming back, so we'll see.
Has Dusty Baker won a world championship before?
He has not.
So he's got a really good chance.
So that's a side note there.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's actually been really close.
He has been close.
Very close a couple times, and he hasn't gotten over that hump.
Right, with San Francisco when Barry Bonds was playing. Am I remembering that correctly?
With the Giants and with the Nationals before the Nationals. Now he didn't get to the World Series with the Nationals, but he was coaching the Nationals, and they didn't get there.
Right.
All right, so we got a lot to look forward to this week. So, and of course, I always get to look forward to spending the evening with you 2 gentlemen. So that's the highlight of my week. So, all right. So what do you have to say? Is that it? Our closing thoughts? Of course, we want to thank Chris behind the scenes. Thank Justin, our #1 fan. Thanks Jason and Brandon Will and everybody for tuning in. Frank, I know you probably tuned. You had to hop off early to watch the Mets game, Frank, but thanks for joining us.
Hey, want to do your shout out to my Irish twin for joining in. She was getting off work, and
we appreciate that. And Annette, and we had Annette on tonight too. We had some women in the group, and so of course I always love to see that. So,
well, tell what's her name again?
Annette.
Annette, tell Annette to invite all of her female friends to join our program. We want more women joining the program because we want to hear their voices. We want to hear their opinions. So let's do that. Invite them all.
All right. Okay. All right, invite them all. And I think that brings up another point. I think we need to get a little bit more active on Clubhouse. They have some women in sports groups, and yeah, let's try to drag some fans over from that. All right, so it's another wrap. It's a wrap. Thanks, Chris. You can play us out, and we appreciate everything you're doing for us behind the scenes.
V's up, deuces.